Hello everybody, how's it going? This is Richboywayne, aka the Specialist of Opportunity, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to avoid bankruptcy. This video, of course, assumes that you're not already in bankruptcy. I know that I've done videos in the past about credit and credit cards and getting the latest credit card for bankruptcy, and most of my other videos assume that you already have filed bankruptcy. It's a done deal, you're done. The damage is already done, okay? But in this video, I really want to make this video for the people who haven't filed bankruptcy, or maybe they're on the verge of bankruptcy, or maybe they thinking about, filing. Maybe they have student loans, maybe they have credit card debt, whatever. So we're going to analyze, and we're going to try to see the patterns, if you will, the warning signs of a person who is headed towards bankruptcy, and to hopefully avoid those warning signs and do something and act. That's the main thing. You have to act. If you don't, then that's when you wind up in trouble. And keep in mind that if you do decide to file bankruptcy, it does stay on your credit report for at least 10 years. Some people say 7. Actually, it can stay up to 20. People don't really tell you that, but typically, most lenders will look at it, and it does stay on there for about 7 years. And it's something that even after it's long gone, it's like a dark cloud that hangs over you, and it's hard to get that dark cloud off of you. So I really want you guys to avoid it if at all possible, and hopefully this video will help. So let's dive into this. Okay, so the first thing you can do to avoid, or I guess the first warning sign when you're headed towards bankruptcy, is when you're borrowing money every single paycheck. That's usually the sign that you're headed towards bankruptcy, or that you're thinking about that you're heading down that road. Maybe you're thinking about borrowing money from these payday lenders or these other websites. You have these cash app sites. You have this site called Earning, which I don't know if you've heard of it or not. It's an app that you download on your phone. You can borrow money. And it's actually I recommend actually doing that if you just have to borrow money. But I really recommend having an emergency fund set up to where you don't have to borrow money from anybody. Because the problem with payday lenders and things of that nature is that it makes it easy to forget how much you owe. And you start getting behind. And if you find yourself borrowing money every single paycheck, then maybe it's time for you to look and examine your finances and say, you know what, something's wrong here. Especially if you're doing it every single paycheck. If you're doing it every single paycheck, that's a problem. The second warning sign, is if you're running up your credit cards. Now, I know I talk a lot about credit cards on my channel, okay? I also preach to use them responsibly. If I haven't made that clear, I apologize in advance, but I do recommend that you use them responsibly. Keep a low balance on them. If you're running up your credit cards past, 30%, it does damage your credit. If you're going over that, then obviously that's not a good sign. If you're over 50%, then you need to really think about making some extra money, okay? Now, at the end of this video, I am going to discuss some ways you can make some quick money, okay? Fast. Because I understand, I get it. Maybe you have car payments, or maybe you're, having a medical emergency that you have to go to the hospital, and you don't have, whatever, okay? I get it. I understand. I live in the real world too, okay? So, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that if you find yourself running up your credit cards past 50%, then you need to really reevaluate where your money's coming in and where it's going out, okay? The next nail in the coffin, usually for most people, is usually when you're doing the two that I mentioned before, borrowing money every single paycheck, running up your credit cards, and then you get hit with that medical emergency, or that car repair, or something that kills you like that. That's usually the nail in the coffin right there. And it can be anything. It can be a divorce, it could be job loss, it could be a medical emergency, it could be major car repairs, it could be other unexpected expenses. Doesn't matter. Because usually, if you have the first two things going on, and this happens, that's usually it. It's game over for you. You can forget about anything else. So, you need to evaluate the first two things, okay? And if you have the first two things going on that I mentioned, then you need to go ahead and get that straightened away right away. And you need to build an emergency fund. I'm telling you guys, you need to build an emergency fund. Have an emergency fund. Some people say $1,000. That may not be practical for most people starting out, okay? Starting out, I would say do $500 first. Then build on top of that. But get $500 at least of an emergency fund. That way if something happens, you're good. And then build on top of that till you get to 1,000. The one thing you don't want to do in that situation, or in these situations, is sit around and do nothing. It's not going to magically go away. It's not going to disappear. You got to take action. You got to take action. Okay? So if you find yourself in this situation and you know that you're heading towards a dark path, maybe you're conscious of what you're doing and you realize that, hey, my credit cards are kind of running up there. I'm borrowing money every single paycheck. My credit cards are running up. I'm running up, all these payday loans and all this stuff. It's time to really sit back and make some money. Now, usually what you can do to kind of figure out how much you need to make is look at how much you're having to borrow from these lenders, payday lenders, every single paycheck. Look at your credit card payments that you're having to make because of your limits. And look at that, and that'll usually tell you what you're missing. Especially if you're borrowing money every single week. Okay, if you're doing that, then yeah, you definitely need to take some action right now. So I did say I was going to mention some ways to make money fast. I get it. You got to make money fast. Obviously, the best and the easiest way would be to get another job. However, I understand that having a second job for most people may not be practical. Okay, what you may want to do is you may want to look into driving for Uber or Lyft if it's available in your city, and if you can do that. Some people don't like it. It is kind of dangerous, and depending on where you live at, yeah, it may not be worth it. So, but that is an option. Another option is to try to get on with these delivery services like Amazon Flex, I think it's called, or what is it? I forget the other one. But a lot of these services like Amazon Flex, for example, will allow you to sign up and you can deliver packages to people. Basically, is what it is. You can also sign up for FedEx and work for them too. UPS, same thing, because they're always looking for drivers. And if you can drive, which most people can, that may be a good thing for you to do. Okay, but maybe you don't have the availability to commit to something like that. So another option would be to go with the delivery services for food, like Postmates, Grubhub, for example. Uber Eats is another good one. Sign up for one of those, and they're a little bit more flexible. You can pretty much do those whenever you want to, really. And you can make some pretty decent money with it. You're going to be driving a lot, but if you got to make some quick money, hey, there it is. Another thing you can do is if you have a job and you can work overtime, I would do that. That doesn't require you to really spend anything. You're already at work. Why not work a couple of extra hours and make some extra money to get yourself out of debt? Hey, I'm just saying. Keep in mind that this isn't permanent. This is just temporary to get you out of the situation that you're in. Another option you can do is you can sell stuff. Now, if you're like me and you have a closet full of stuff that you haven't worn in forever, maybe you have a lot of stuff in your house that you need to get rid of, you can sell it. You can sell it on eBay. You can go to Craigslist. Facebook Marketplace is another great place to sell stuff. Hey, do what you got to do, and a lot of odd jobs like painting and cutting grass and picking up trash, things of that nature. A lot of day labor type jobs are always looking for people. So you may want to do that, depending on the area that you're in of the country or whatever. Those are good options too. But the main thing is just to be conscious of what you're spending. Now, in another video I'm going to be making here soon, I want to be talking about the budgeting, how to budget, and doing some budgeting hacks and things of that nature. Which it sounds like it's boring on its face, but I'm telling you that these hacks is something that people don't really talk about. I think it could help a lot of people, so I'm bringing it out. It's not going to be boring, I promise. There's going to be useful information in it, and I think it's going to be helpful for a lot of people. But if you think this video is helpful for you, hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go ahead and just be on top of your finances. Don't wait. Don't sit around and do nothing, because sitting around and doing nothing will definitely get you in a lot of trouble. And as I always talk about on this channel, take action. Take action. Don't just sit around and do nothing. Take action. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, stay up, become an opportunist, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I don't ask, I just go for it.